Okay, we're now on to match 3. We won match 1 against the Epic Storm, match 2 against Maverick. This is now our third match in a row that we've lost the die roll. I'm sure I'll stop bitching about this one day, but that'll probably be the day that I actually start winning the die roll. We're going to keep this hand. If we draw, I think, Lotus Petal or LED, we're just going to jam. Or I think probably any ritual as well. So let's have a look here. So if we go any piece of mana, we can go ritual, ritual, mana, whatever it is, Dark Petition. We can grab another ritual. And then with Dark Petition, whatever Dark Petition will grab. So depending on what we draw, Dark Petition would grab either LED or just. So if we draw a Lotus Petal, Dark Petition grabs another ritual. If we draw anything else, I think it has a grab an LED. Okay. I kind of think we should be probing here, of all things. I really think we want that turn 1 win. And Preordain off a tropical island kind of lets our opponent know what we're doing a little bit too much. Alright, we'll take the LED. And just hope like hell that our opponent has nothing but maybe just a daze or something next turn. Okay, so given he just played an island, I'm gonna, I would have actually put him on Sneak and Show, but instead he's on something much nastier. And we're going to run this Brainstorm out, and we're going to hope to run it into that Spell Pierce. And I think that should be good for us. And so here we're just going to do what we did before, what we were saying before, where we're just going to grab another ritual. Our opponent will Brainstorm. They have exactly Force of Will. From here, we can beat anything else. And yeah, look, our opponent's just going to scoop at that point. They can see the writing on the wall. So we're playing this like Miracles. I don't really know how we should be playing it. It's not something. It looks like some kind of blue-red controlled brew. So I think we still just have to assume that they're going to be a Snapcaster base deck. Which means that Ground Seal gets good. I think we have to cut a land of some sort. Dark Petition's going to get worse. I like keeping both Past and Flames. And I think we end up having to cut both Preordains, not because we particularly want to, but because we have to. So this hand, I'm not sure about keeping it. So it's got some glaring problems in that it doesn't have any cantrips. However, it does have a very high upside. And that if we go something like Lead on Duress, draw an LED, we can probably kill him quite quickly. I think we could possibly have cut an Underground Sea in this matchup to play around back to basics. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. Okay, and our opponent's leading on Meddling Mage. So we're pretty glad that we've kept in, or that we brought in Abrupt Decays. And second Meddling Mage. So this is starting to get problematic for us. This is quite a good draw they've had. We're not locked out of the game yet. And we're not going to play around back to basics anymore. However, this is getting pretty bad for us. So we're pretty pleased to have Past in Flames and Dark Ritual in our hand, as well as a Lotus Petal. And a million copies of Duress. But unfortunately, we're also Brainstorm locked, and we can't cast either of the Infernal Tutors that we found. So I think next turn we're discarding the hand size and just pitching an Infernal Tutor. And then maybe hoping that he Surgical's Infernal just in case. And I think next game we're going to consider bringing in... We might want to make sure that we Duress him sooner rather than later. Or at least before the game finishes. We're just looking for evidence of Snapcaster Mage at this point. The reason being... Okay, so there's a Snap. So we need the... I think we want to keep the Ground Seals in that case. I'll take Jace. Normally I don't stress too much about Jace unless I know the game's going to go quite long. And at this point I know the game's going to go quite long. So we really need to get something going, I think more or less exactly this coming turn. And it probably needs to be exactly Tendrils of Agony that we draw. Okay, we can try this. How much mana do we have? So we have 7 mana. Past in Flames brings us down to 3 Dark Ritual up to 6. So I think we need to lead on Dark Ritual Duress, and we're going to have to hope to brainstorm into something worthwhile. Even worse, our opponent currently has Brainstorm, Snap, Brainstorm up. So they have somewhere in the region of 6 looks. At their library. This cuts us out of the game now, by the way. Alright. So I'm not sure how I feel about cutting empty for Past in Flames. I definitely think we want to be cutting a land. Looks like Back to Basics is gone. I guess the reason to bring an empty here is we're trying to go under everything that they're bringing in, given they just have a pretty absurd amount of very targeted hate here. We're absolutely keeping this, by the way. So we're going to take Force of Will here. Oh no, okay, so we're going to Ponder. Alright, we're okay. I'm okay with that. At the moment, we're just trying to go off very fast, and I think we're increasingly in a good position to do so. So we'll take the Force this turn. This is looking really good. Alright, so let's Therapy. Actually, so Duress makes a lot of sense here. The reason being our opponent is only going to have a really limited amount of mana next turn. So we can't brainstorm. It's going to be hard for him to brainstorm and be able to deal with a Therapy for Force of Will. Okay, so he's got Is It Staticaster, which is good to know because we were probably going to Therapy for more or less exactly. I guess we can still go for Empty the Warrens and be able to Therapy Is It Staticaster. So I actually think this means we have a lethal Past in Flames kill with Tendrils in hand, so long as we can beat Surgical Extraction. So we're going to Therapy for Force now, because we know that was around. Okay. So our opponent has now exactly 0 relevant interaction. He's got a Pyroblast, which we can deal with. He's got a Stoneforge Mystic, which is a creature. Is It Staticaster, which he can't cast. And a Snapcaster Mage, which he can't do anything with. And we have access to 9 mana, which is going to be 7 mana after Infernal Tutor. And I think 3, so 7 down to 3 mana after we cast Past in Flames. And then up to 5 mana after we Infernal Tutor, and then, sorry, 3 mana after we Pass from Flames, 5 mana after we Dark Ritual. Then we can Infernal Tutor, grab something like an LED, and use that to cantrip a bunch before we hit him with the Lethal Tendrils. So we'll just use something like a couple of probes and a couple of cantrips in order to, yeah, just take him out of the game there. So Dark Ritual, and honestly, I think from here, 2 probes gets us there. This is somewhat unnecessary, but it doesn't really matter too much. LED gets a Storm Count 9. We can crack LED for black, Duress Therapy, and get him for Storm Count somewhere over, somewhere around 12 plus. And okay, now we're just showboating a little bit, but why not after the beating that we got last game? Okay, and we're now 3-0.